Hello, hello, hope you guys doing fantastic today. I've been progressing HulkSmash in past 2 days since the last video, and I hit the point where I'm comfortably running tier 15 maps, and I have to say that this has to be one of my most fun, smoothest experiences with Warrior I've had. And don't get me wrong, we made multiple Warrior projects that were really fun to play. And this one is just the combination of defense and reasonable damage, which, is something new for sure, because in the previous patches I would say that this game was suffering from having too much damage. Right now the damage is reasonable and still can reach stupid amounts from the map I did. It's just a combination of that and how smooth it is and how much you can still improve it if you really want to. It just makes it like a super fun experience. The character is very strong. It's quite easy to equip to find like appropriate gear because the gear for warriors is not too expensive. Your damage setup is actually dirt cheap because you're using a 1 exalt weapon. It's just I don't know. I can't say enough good things about it. We're just gonna jump into the showcase. I'm gonna, talk about the items, the passive tree, the upgrades I made since last time, and let's just jump into it because there's many videos I need to make. I want to make. The next video, for example, is going to be the one where I'm going to explain the armor stacking and why I think it's really strong. And so, like, let's just jump into it, right? So we have this map with triple damage mod. For most people, this would be pretty scary, right? Let's see what's gonna happen here. Because extra damage is fire, cold, and lightning at the same time. That's like that's a very reasonable amount of additional damage we'll be taking here, right? So let's see what's gonna happen. We have a nice delirium over here as well. We have a nice delirium over here, and I don't know. Let's jump into like a pack of monsters or something. Jump into a pack of monsters. Oh, these are abyssal monsters too, or something. And yeah, triple damage mod, by the way. This is what happens, right? This is like I could stand there honestly, probably for a longer period of time. If I invested a little bit more into regeneration or something like that, I could stand there like basically permanently. And this is without a shield. This is without a shield, right? And this is tier 15 map. And this is like with a gear that I'm pretty sure that not a single piece of my gear is going to exceed like one divine or something like this. I think the most expensive part of my equipment that I bought is boots, which cost me like a divine, which are pretty good. But other than that, nothing like that costed a divine. So there is still one thing you need to be careful about, which is basically the damage over time zones, especially from Abyss, because I think that they do a lot of damage. As you can see, if I'm going to stand inside them, even with my potion, I still keep on degenerating. But simultaneously, it's not that big of a deal, right? But with Abyssal Depths, I guess I'm going to jump into it and show you guys how we're doing in in these areas when we have those very strong rare monsters. But I got off track a little bit. I was saying that the build is a great combination of offense and defense. And let's jump into offense first. First of all, we're using Bone Shatter. I know your hands might start to hover above your keyboards, and you want to tie a Bone Shatter again. Believe me or not, for as many warrior builds as I made, this is actually the first time I'm using Bone Shatter in the late game. I've never done that before. Every single other of my builds were something else. Were Leap Slam, which was a popular thing. We had like the Herald explosion thing going on. We had Perfect Strike with Molten Blast. We had Molten Titan. We had some other stuff. We had War Cries. This is actually the first time I'm clearing maps and endgame with Bone Shatter. And I have to say, it feels very comfortable. Of course, the fact that the area got cut so hard this patch. Let's drop this rare monster over here. The fact that area got cut so hard this patch means that it's not going to feel as good as in previous patches. The years of the months, should I say, of clearing the entire maps with Leap Slam. You can still do it because I tested it. You can still do it. It definitely doesn't feel as good as it used to, but you can still do it if you want. It's just I'm not sure if it necessarily felt better than the Bone Shatter, right? Oh, this guy revived himself. I'm going to generate Endurance Charge, and by the way, this is going to be the part of my explanation how we're basically generating damage with this build. But as you saw, with the endurance charge generated from Perfect Strike, I one-shot the rare monster. Without it, I did like, I don't know, 1/4 of its life, and we're gonna get to it later. This is the part of why I'm doing very decent amount of single target damage, and it honestly feels good. And I'm using a 1 exalted weapon to do that, so you know it feels even better, right? Because you don't need to spend much. But Bone Shatter feels great in my opinion. If you want to just leap slam and do nothing else, you can. I am aware of this tech where people are generating like insane amount of fissures from not only leap slam but from the ancestral cry, the new cry, I forgot its name, and from the hammer and stuff like that. Personally, I tested it. I think it might be, I don't want to say overrated, but you're doing the same thing, like you're doing a lot to achieve the same thing, if you know what I mean. And there is one problem that pretty much stops me from playing with this completely, and this is actually a major one. Your FPS will drop all the freaking time. I'm like, I have a pretty strong PC here, and still FPS, if I'm going to generate 50 fissures at the same time, my FPS is like gonna drop to like 10. The stream is unwatchable when I'm streaming, or like, you know, for the showcase and stuff like that. So I'm not as necessarily sure if this is like the best setup for you to go for. It still works. There is potential for it. For example, when it comes to pinnacle boss fights, I'm pretty sure that you could generate some very, very high numbers with it. But it's just not for something that for general mapping. I don't know if you can achieve the same effect basically by just leap slamming and exploding packs with Bone Shatter. I feel like this is just going to work really great, and there is no need for you to, you know, drop your FPS to 5 or something like that. I used to drop my FPS once to 8 on my previous PC, and just it didn't feel that great. I have to admit. But yeah, that's when it comes to offense. The single target, we're gonna get to that later. And when it comes to defense, we're obviously stacking armor. And I don't want to talk about armor for too long in this video, but I'm gonna say it right here. I think that stacking armor currently in its current form is overpowered, and it's going to get nerfed in the future. As you can see, apart from this one moment where I lost a little bit of HP when we're doing Abyss, and the only reason for that was because we were standing on top of, you know, this degeneration zone that does a lot, and I mean a lot of damage per second. Other than that, I'm not really like losing HP at all, right? And this is a dangerous map. This is a very dangerous map with 2 additional projectiles and triple damage mod, right? This map is nothing to sneeze at. And why is that, and why am I feeling so tanky even without a shield? The reason is we invested heavily into armor, and armor applies to elemental damage stat. We have so much of it that while mapping, we're pretty much mitigating damage to the point where, unless I'm getting hit by like a really, you know, big slam from a boss or something like that, the damage feels almost inconsistent. And the best part about it is that with new 30% quality armor pieces and other stuff that you can, you know, still do. Obviously, I'm only level 90. Like this is day 3 or day 4 of the league or something like that. This is day 4, right? 3.5, something like this. And you can still get much more. For example, I have 10 stacks of scavenge plating. We're generating them constantly. We're gonna get to that when I'm going to be talking about the gem setups. But we have 10 scavenge plating stacks. I'm sitting at 78,000 armor and 145,000 against elemental, right? And that's without shield. With shield, it's even more, because shield obviously will provide you armor. You want to stack as much armor on your shield as possible. So, you know, that's a lot. I mean, let's jump into a boss here, right? So this boss has triple elemental damage, and that's how much damage he does to me, right? Triple elemental. Gonna drop perfect strike, boom, 1,000,000 damage. We're gonna drop perfect strike to generate endurance charge, boom, he's dead, right? The second part was I messed up something. I think maybe I didn't broke his armor or something like that, but this is how much I've been doing with single shield wall so far. basically around million damage per shield wall. And I think I mentioned that before. I think you could get to something like 5 million late game if you're actually going to invest into damage and get appropriate setups. I have some very pathetic things right now. For example, my shield wall, so this is like a basic damage ability, is not even, I don't have like 6 link here. It's only on a 5 link, right? Using PoE1 terms. It's only level 18, so just from the skill gem I could get 2 levels. So that alone will be like 40 to 50% more damage. That alone would put it at 1.5 million damage. Alone. There is obviously other stuff you can do, for example, abusing this broken support that inverts the resistances of enemies, and using Avatar of Fire, that is additional, I don't know how much damage. There is many things you can do. But the bottom line is the character just feels amazing, and it's only going to get better. This is one of my best experiences with Warrior I've had so far. I just, can't say enough good things about it. It feels really good. And obviously over time, in a video in 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, I'm going to come back and it's going to be even stronger, even faster, right? So it's going to feel even better. So it is what it is. Let's jump into a gem setup. So as you can see, I have linked Mace Strike over here. You might be surprised, but sometimes it's very convenient since the change, in 0.3, where you can use as many support gems as you want of the same type. There is no point, in my opinion, not to use Mace Strike and sometimes finish leftover rares. For the most part, with Bone Shatter, most rares will get exploded, like in a single Bone Shatter, and it feels really good. But for the leftover rares, you can just slam, as many damage supports in your Mace Strike, which is going to be, increased attack speed, close combat, more damage here. For some reason, it's considered area attack, so concentrated area is just 30% more damage. More damage, right? And you just slap this damage on your Mace Strike, and you're going to finish off targets really fast, honestly. If there's one leftover rare with like half HP, you're gonna swing 2-3 times and they're dead. Of course, for very tanky rares, you can just, you're going to be generating endurance charges while mapping anyway. We're gonna get to that in a second. So you can just slap shield wall exploded with a Warcry, and the rare is going to be dead pretty much for sure, because it does a lot of damage. So next up we have Bone Shatter. As you can see, I don't have a single skill that is a 6 link. The only one is Leap Slam, and there is absolutely no reason why it should be on a 6 link. The only reason why I put a Perfect Jeweler Orb here is for experiment, to experiment with something, like literally. Yesterday on stream we were experimenting if you could use Leap Slam to just clear the entire maps just with Leap Slam, and the answer is yes, you could. Does it feel as good as Leap Slamming into Bone Shattering quickly? As you can see, it's really quick. In my opinion, no. I think that Bone Shatter feels better in a combination with Leap Slam. But if you wanted to, you could absolutely use just Leap Slam and that would be fine. That being said, Bone Shatter, a Magnified Area, I don't think it's worth it to use Magnified Area 2. I think that... I don't know, I think it's just they messed it up. Of course, I understand the nerfing area in the game like by a lot, and the area is nerfed by a lot, and removing more area modifiers from supports is a lot, and it makes sense. But adding 10% additional area of effect and decreasing the damage by 10% less on Magnified Area 2, I don't want to talk about it. Then we have, of course, Impact Shockwave for even more overlap. Very nice to use. Then we have Ancestral Call 2. This is great. I started using it yesterday when I was testing, when I was experimenting, and this feels great. That basically means that you're going to jump into pack, and every second time you're going to jump into pack, literally every second time, you're going to have this ready. And this increases the damage by 30%, increases the area of effect by 25%, but most importantly, ancestrally boosted strike will target 2 additional enemies. So it basically works like in PoE1, like Ancestral Call, where you spawn clones, and these clones also use Bone Shatter with you. And this will actually increase your area by a lot. And this feels really, really good. So I very much recommend it. And then Armor Break. This is our way of permanently having maximum scavenge plating stacks while mapping, and also generating endurance charges. This is amazing support for this skill. Absolutely you should use it, because while mapping you're going to have permanently 3 endurance charges, and this is useful because you're not going to have to generate them with Perfect Strike this way, right? because you can just, when you have endurance charges, you can just slap this here, and boom, you have like a guaranteed crit from Nebulok, which we're gonna get to later. Now, Shield Wall, we're using Atalui's Bloodletting, the new support. This is an absolutely crazy support, and it's going to scale even harder into late game. The better your gear gets, the harder this scales, because this makes your skill do more damage based on how much the skill costs. Guess what is the best way of increasing the skill's costs? It's increasing its level. Guess what the warriors do really well? Increasing their skill levels. So basically, in the very late game, where you'll be able to get like to a high level. So for example, like I don't know, +3 from amulet, +2 from gloves, +1 from corruption. I think you can get corrupted like level 21 gems still, right? And for example, there is a jewel, prism of belief, right? +2 or +3. You're gonna get to the point where the support is literally going to like double your damage. You're gonna get like 100% of extra physical damage from this support. It's insane. And on top of that, it creates this really cool play where you actually want your other supports to give you high cost multipliers. Because once again, the more mana the skill is going to cost, the more damage it's going to receive. And the best part about this is at the same time, it has inbuilt life tap. So this cost is going to get converted to life. So you don't need to worry that you're going to have 500 mana or something like that. Without any mana modifiers, and you're not gonna have enough mana to cast the skill. No, because it's gonna cost life anyway. So that's this support is just insane, right? Then you have close combat for 30% more damage. Then exploit weakness is great because before you're gonna hit a boss, you want to use your armor break anyway to break the armor. So why not use exploit weakness, right? Because you're probably going to use that anyway to generate your rage, right? So this is a great support in my opinion. And then brutality, more physical damage feels absolutely fine because we are pretty much only doing physical damage anyway, since shield wall does not benefit from elemental damage on your weapon or yeah, I mean, yeah, it just makes sense, right? Then leap slam. Of course, you don't need to have a 6-link here. The support I would drop probably if I were you while using Leap Slam. First of all, I would change this from... Would I? No, I wouldn't. I would probably just drop this because you're going to have rage generation very easily while mapping anyway. From jewels, it's very easy to achieve enough rage generation where you don't need to worry about that. So I'll probably just drop this. Rage 3 is unnecessary. And since I have a 6-link here, I'm probably going to drop this rage and put something else here. I'm just going to check real fast what this support is called. I'm not going to check it right now. The one that gives you consecrated ground when you land. This is actually going to be very, very good. The extra regeneration is going to feel great. So this would the one I would use. Now armor breaker. This skill has one purpose: to break enemies' armor, and that's it pretty much, and give you additional damage boost. Thankfully, there is a new support, Urk Smelting, Orc Torque Torque, great name I have to say, that gives you additional damage on top of that the more times you're going to break enemies' armor, and that's kind of cool. That will give you like additional damage bonus in the very long fights when your gear is still like very, very bad on low levels, something like that, right? This is going to be additional damage bonus, so nothing, not too crazy, right? Nothing to sneeze at. Then you have Rage for regeneration and more attack speed while you're not at maximum Rage. It's totally fine. Rapid attacks, it could be rapid attacks 3. You're not going to be doing damage with this skill anyway, so it doesn't matter. And then less cost. Could be as well life tap. It's not going to cost any mana. But honestly, this skill almost doesn't cost any mana anyway, so efficiency is fine. Then Perfect Strike, ooh, that's a big one. Perfect Strike has perfected endurance, and this is basically a improved way to generate endurance charge. If someone remembers my Icebringer build from patch 0.2, we were struggling pretty hard at generating endurance charge. You had to do like this weird thing where you had to break enemies' armor, then consume it with Leap Slam, then break enemies' armor, then consume it with Leap Slam, and you had 40% chance to get an endurance charge at when you consumed broken armor, right? Guess what? Right now, you just cast Perfect Strike at the enemy, and you get endurance charge guaranteed. That's it. And look how fast it is. And I don't even have any attack speed on my weapons. And I didn't really invest into attack speed at all, right? This is how fast it is. And this feels absolutely great because the guaranteed 100% chance consistency is always welcome in any game, really, right? And that's all you have to do. And after that, the only thing you really care here about is increasing its attack speed. You don't care about less damage. The only purpose of this skill right now is to increase, is to generate you endurance charge, and the faster it does it, the better. So you want to get this. You want to get perfection, which is really good too, because perfection basically gives you, every time you perfectly time your perfect strike, you get 5% more damage, and it works on all skills. So you're gonna get, you can do it like even before the boss fight, right? You can stack it up if you want to, and then you use shield wall, explode it, and you do 50 to 20% more damage, right? Then boom, oh, I freaking failed that. And then boom, you continue on getting the charges, and boom, you have consistently this more damage bonus. So that's a very nice combination, right? Keep in mind though that perfection is lost on failing to execute any perfect timing. For some reason, I don't know why I'm going to fail it right now. Okay, never mind. Actually, it's gone. I failed it once and it didn't remove the buff. Like right here, right? I failed it and it didn't. I don't know. Maybe the timing is a little bit more lenient when it comes to failing this buff. I don't know. That being said, the last one, which is not mandatory, it cost me like 15 results or something like that, is Rigwell's Ferocity. When it's allocated in weapon set number 1, which is going to be Perfect Strike, it gives you 20% more attack speed and less damage. Less damage is irrelevant, 20% more attack speed is fantastic. As you can see, I'm going to put this outside, put this off, and it's significantly slower, right? It actually, right now, this actually feels fast. And this is additional support if you know. I just bought it to test it out. It works great, so I didn't just go back and sell it. I'm just using it right now, right? And after that, Fortifying Cry. This gives you additional damage. It's not a big deal. It's going to give you, I'm going to set to weapon set number 2. So this is going to give you like a 200% multiplier on level 18 damage buff when you're going to explode the shield wall. It's nothing to sneeze at. I think it's better than any other Warcry because other Warcries for this build are not that great. So you can just use it, right? You can just use it with Raging Cry, with cooldowns recovery, and with Tireless. And it's going to be fine. I'm going to try to work on it and try to make it a little bit better. Of course, you could have like a 6-link and put it full of damage supports, and at this point it would actually do some additional damage. It would be decent amount probably, but yeah, I don't know. It's fine. It's okay. Actually, it wouldn't even do that much because it wouldn't crit. This has a 5% base crit chance, and we consume our crit with shield wall. We consume our endurance charge with shield wall, so actually never mind. I guess it's fine to keep it like this. And we have Berserk for more damage, self-explanatory. And then we have Scavenge Plating for more armor bonus. It's absolutely massive because, as I showed you before, but with 10 stacks, we have almost 90,000 armor and like about 50,000. With a shield, we have like 160,000 armor applying to elemental damage. That is a lot, but that is a topic for a separate video, which is probably going to be tomorrow. So, you know, stay tuned. And then we have more skill effect duration for, you know, obvious reasons. The longer duration of stacks, and 2% recovery from vitality. It costs 40 spirits, but in my opinion, it's worth it. And this is one thing I'm going to keep on working on this build to improve its regeneration, because I feel like with enough regeneration, that completely mitigates this build only weakness, which is, I don't want to say that it's vulnerable to damage over time, because we do have some regeneration and 4k life, and it's easy to get a lot of life on this build, but it's something that like still can kill us if we're not careful, right? So something to keep in mind. All right, so that's it. When it comes to the passive tree, since last time, obviously I level up quite a bit, and I do believe the main difference compared to last time is basically I set up both trees. So weapon set number 1, weapon set number 2. There is something important that you need to remember, and I forgot to drop these 2 points. I mean, it's fine, but it's nothing too crazy. But I can, I guess, explain that based on these 2 points. This increased damage with maces does not work on your single target on your shield wall. The shield wall will benefit from stuff like attack area damage. It's going to benefit from attack damage. It's going to benefit from melee damage, like here. It's not going to benefit from stuff like this, like damage with maces. It's not going to benefit with damage with one-handed weapons because it's an offhand damage. So all of these, you need to keep that in mind, that some passives will just not work with shield wall, with shield skills. This applies to shield charge too, and you have to keep that in mind, that this is why you have 2 weapon sets to spend your points smart. Another small thing that I did is this 1 point over here is really busted for some reason, and for some reason normally it's 1 second. Inherent Rage loss starts 1 second later. For Titan it's 1.5. And from what I've seen on the passive tree, this is the only node in the game, on the passive tree, for the ones I saw, that actually, has like a value after, it doesn't round to full number, like 1 or 2. It's 1.5. Like if you're gonna look at rage, for example, it's not 1.5, it's still 1 rage. If you're gonna look like literally anything else, like maximum resistance or something like that, it's always going to round down from 5 to 7. From I don't know, 11 to 16, something like that, right? This one just works. And for a single point, this is really good, because you're gonna see the rage description. You start losing rage after not generating rage or taking damage after 2 seconds. This 1 passive point literally doubles it. So with this 1 passive point, even when you don't have that great of rage generation, even if I put out my rage from Leap Slam, I still have 2 rage generation from my jewels, and this jewel and the other one. And guess what? Like with this, I need to wait for 3.5 seconds to not hit anything. After not hitting anything, I'm going to start degenerating my rage. That is a long time. This 1 point really makes rage generation and rage uptime really comfy against bosses while mapping everywhere. And I love it, I have to say. I just put this 1 point in here. If you really want to go overkill, I guess you could allocate all 3 points. And at this point, you have your rage borderline permanently. So you just have to generate it once and you're done. And on top of that, here you're going to get +4 maximum rage at the final point. So that's some damage, right? It's nothing to sneeze at. You could do that if you wanted. But, I don't know. I have many ways of generating rage. I just put 1 point and just called it a day. But that's kind of funny. I had no idea that this scales with hulking form. So, yeah. And the last change is that I invested some points on the passive tree number 1 to attack speed. In my opinion, this makes the build feel way more smooth while farming. It's not that important in weapon set number 2. The attack speed will increase the speed at which you're going to put the wall down, when you're using shield wall. And I'm going to try to get a little bit more. But it's not that big of a problem. The biggest problem that I felt before was not having enough while mapping, and this problem is gone. If you wanted to, you could, for example, drop something else too and invest into more attack speed. We have more attack speed, quite a lot of attack speed nodes now in the warrior area, and here you can invest into good old attack speed cluster over here. Here you have another one, here you have another one, so there's quite a lot. I like this one because this one gives you a massive 50% increased attack speed if you've been hit recently, which is while mapping pretty much all the time. So for these points, this is a lot. And additionally, it gives you combined 14% reduced slowing potency of debuffs. If you really don't like temp chains, if you don't like being slowed, if you don't like chilling ground, if you don't like stuff like that, guess what? With this 14% and additionally 48% from these 3 points, that's not a lot of investment, just 3 points, right? You're pretty much slow immune. And that's freaking cool. Well, you're not immune, but you're gonna reduce its efficiency to the point where it's barely noticeable. That's really cool. That's actually really cool. And on top of that, you're getting attack speed. That's, to me, guys, that's really cool. I don't want to get excited like a child, but Anyway, that's pretty much it. Of course, I invested these points over here. Iron Reflexes with Leather-Bound Gauntlets is still a broken combo. I mean, broken. Right now it kind of is because armor is much better. But this is a really strong combo because if you have a lot of armor on your gloves, you can get up to like 800 or 900 on your gloves or something like that. If you have a lot, then all of this armor gets converted to evasion. Not converted. You get like flat the amount you have on your gloves, and then all of that evasion gets converted to armor again. So basically, these gloves do not give me 500, 600 armor. Right now, they're giving me 1.2k armor just thanks to this. And this cluster is full of armor nodes additionally. So that's really cool, once again. And I very much recommend investing into that. On top of that, you have really cool nodes here if you wanted to change your tree a little bit. For example, get rid of something, get something else. Then, for example, here you have very strong nodes that will give you attributes, a decent amount of strength, and 5% maximum life. Potentially 5% movement speed as well. A very strong node over there. Here one you have another pretty good one. You can completely get rid of Ignite. You're never going to get ignited again with this one. And you're going to get additional strength. So not a bad thing. And of course, next point I'm going to be investing into is going to be this cluster over here because it's a jewel socket. Jewel sockets, just like before, very strong. So it's definitely worth investing into. Now, when it comes to gear, I have good news. This is probably one of the cheapest builds I've made, especially for a league start. You know, I remember in 0.2, for example, people were complaining that Will Smith, that my weapons were pretty good, got pretty good pretty fast because I played a lot early on, which is just how it goes, right? This time it's different because the pretty much the only thing you want is to get some decent weapons just to explode monsters. Basically decent weapons just to the point where you can comfortably clear maps, and Bone Shatter does it perfectly. Bone Shatter is a really strong ability for clearing maps. It really is. Like, you saw how I cleared this map. I have 0 damage supports here. 0. Of course, it's only level 18 too. Level 20 plus 6 link, and this skill is gonna clear, like, it's gonna clear everything like, you know, they're made out of paper. So, and this is with none of these weapons are worth a divine. I thought I bought them for like about 20-30 exalts. It's just some physical damage and +3 to melee skills. Literally the same thing here. No attack speed, no nothing, literally just this. And with attack speed is actually a very important stat here. Because with attack speed, you're going to move faster, and the build is going to feel even more smooth. So I very much recommend it, actually. I very much recommend getting some attack speed in your weapons. But late game, even the one-handed weapons were never as expensive as two-handers. Right now, this you know, the price of two-handers might lower a little bit because of Giant's Blood nerf, which we don't even allocate. We don't even care about that, by the way. One of the another great advantages of this build. But one-handed weapons like that should be nothing hard to get. They truly shouldn't be. I doubt that this video is going to change it. So. Just, you know, foreshadowing. Now when it comes to weapon SWAT, we're using good old Nebulok, the technology I discovered last league. I may build with this. The only difference is that the last league we were using shield charge. This time we were using shield wall that was buffed, and I feel like it actually feels amazing because there is all of the clunkiness is gone. You don't have to worry about shield charge sometimes doing less damage because of a bug. You don't have to worry about not generating an endurance charge from armor breaker. You don't have to care about all of that. It feels way more smooth than it was on Icebringer. Sure, it doesn't do 30 million damage when you actually, you know, do it properly, but this is still gonna be a lot of damage. So Nebulok with increased attack speed to make this a little bit faster, this entire thing. Don't worry about critical damage bonus, this only works on your weapon. So this critical damage bonus here actually doesn't do anything on the shield. The bonuses from other places, like for example gloves or amulets, still might work. I need to double check. I can tell you one thing, the bonuses from a passive tree for sure work. That's why my weapon set number 2 looks like this, like basically I'm pathing towards crit damage, right? One cluster over here, and the second crit damage is over here. Probably investing into this one would also be great. So I need to... There's going to be optimizations in the future, right? This cluster is absolutely mandatory, though, because it increases mana cost of your skills. I explained why this is important before, so yeah. This is setup number 2. Shield, the only thing and I'm going to keep it consistently cheap. The only thing you care about here, literally the only thing, is armor. Don't care about life, don't care about strength, don't care about anything. Literally just try to get a shield with high armor. That's it, period. If it's going to have additional physical damage reduction or armor applies to elemental, nice bonus. Nothing, it's totally fine to have. But if it doesn't matter. The only thing you care about here is literally getting high armor so that your damage from shield wall increases. That's it. It should keep it pretty cheap. If the only thing you care about is armor, it should keep it pretty cheap. Additionally, of course, armor, even if the shield doesn't have any additional modifiers, armor will still increase your physical and elemental damage reduction, because with a shield, as you can see right now, this shield is, I do believe they can get way higher than this, right? Because this is a tier 1 percent, tier 1 hybrid, and only tier 4 armor, and of course it has no quality. It can have up to 30% quality, right? So shields can get up to, like, I don't know, 1500 armor, something like that. So right now I'm sitting at 50, almost 4000 without shield, and 61 armor with shield. So this is already a pretty nice bonus, right? For the other pieces of gear, let's start with chest. The chest, obviously, it's very consistent. I'm going to, like, try to, this video is probably too long already. I'm going to try to keep it quick. The most important the most important stat you should have on your body armor is armor, because this scales with stone skin, and with bonus from sturdy metal, and with bonus from this jewel over here that gives you increased armor from equipped body armor. This is a very strong combo, and I think you should just increase your armor on your body chest as much as possible. A great budget option is brass dome. You can totally go for that. Next up, gloves. The additional stat, apart from all the stats that I mentioned before, you want here probably is a bonus to all melee skills. It's a very nice thing to have. Other than that, armor on gloves is very important, because it scales, like, you get double thanks to this passive. So it's pretty important to have a good amount of armor on your gloves. Excuse me. Boots, this is the most expensive piece of my gear. I bought it for 1 divine yesterday, because it has double chaos resistance, right? It has unveiled chaos resistance, the mod from Abyss. And other than that, they still cost 1 divine. You focus the same thing: life, armor, resistances, and armor applies to elemental damage. That's consistent in every single piece of gear, pretty much. These are the stats that you're looking for, and all of them will make your life much easier, and you're going to be much tankier. That's it. This is a beautiful thing about this build, because it's very easy to understand, very simple what you're supposed to get, and these stats are important. They're gonna make a visible difference. It's not like, sometimes previously on the warrior you had items and, like, oh no, I don't know what to get. This stat doesn't look too great. This stat doesn't look great either. Now this time, every stat on warrior that you're looking for is going to make difference. They're gonna feel great. So that's absolutely fantastic. And rings are very simple. You basically want to cap your resistances here and get life. Literally, that's it. We don't really care about a damage on your rings. It's not really important. The vast majority of your damage is going to come from a shield. This stat is going to... Look, you're going to get some additional damage on your rings. Is it going to make your clear speed with Bone Shatter a little bit better? Sure. Is it important? No. Additionally, as a prefix, you can get evasion rating. This obviously, once again, gets converted to armor from iron reflexes. And then last but not least, then we have belt, but it's the same thing. Resistance is life, armor. That's it. That's literally it, right? Make sure it has at least 2 charm slots, because this is going to cap you. And when it comes to charms, real fast, I'm going to talk about it. This charm is... I mean, it's okay, but... Okay, this charm is okay. What I would just remove is this one and use the freeze immunity instead. I don't know why. I guess I'm too lazy, but I should have gone. I should have removed this charm a long time ago and just used freeze immunity instead, because freeze immunity is better. I got frozen like 3 or 4 times since I remember playing this character, so not very often, but it's still better, right? And then immunity to shock. This is fine, and then immunity to freeze. And last but not least, we have Zov's Blood, above Zov's Blood, because now it goes from 10 to 20% increased maximum life. And guess what? This amulet costs absolutely nothing. I bought a perfect roll, an almost perfect fire resistance roll 2 days ago for 5 exalts. So I bet that right now something like that could cost 1 exalt or something. And that's literally it. 24% maximum life is absolutely devastating, right? It gives me 870 life right now, and there is no reason not to use this at low budgets. There is literally no reason not to use it. You could even use that for a long time, like literally for a long time. Late game, yes, the amulet, like a GG amulet with plus skills, melee skills, with life, percent life, and armor or something like that, that's going to be GG. But before that, look at this. 24% life, look at this. And fire resistance too, which is like tier 2, high tier 2 modifier. I mean, look at this thing. And of course, you want to put quality life modifiers, 20%. On top of that, allocates HulkSmash. HulkSmash, that is a complete coincidence because I was just looking for a very cheap anointment and I decided to keep this one. And when I allocated it, I realized that HulkSmash now has HulkSmash, right? With hulking form. It's just like it's hilarious, but it is what it is, right? There is, for other cheap, very cheap still, and notable that you can allocate is still Titanic. Titanic is great. There's nothing wrong allocating that. But honestly, this, it's almost, they're both almost the same, and HulkSmash is cheaper. So at this point, pretty much you get like additional 30% increased stun threshold here. Titanic is better. It's still cheap, so I would probably still go for Titanic. But for more expensive options, what would be great, absolutely great, is where is this? There it is. Throat Seeker is absolutely insane. 60% critical damage bonus. I did some math. I think that's going to be around, with my current amount of critical damage bonus, that's going to be around 16-17% more damage. Almost 20% more damage. Just allocating this. So I would go from a million hit to 1.2 already. Just allocating this, right? It's expensive. I wouldn't do that if I were you in the beginning. That's definitely something to think about in late game. But this is the best notable, I think, period. I don't think you're going to find anything better than that. So that's pretty much it, boys. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to be making videos probably every day. Tomorrow, I would expect a video about if something's going to happen in 2 days. I would expect a video about armor stacking. I'm going to, talk about this topic thoroughly, and we're going to try to explore what you can do that in a very late game, because you might think that this number, add 40% to that, by the way, from scavenge plating, but you might think that, right now 90,000 armor is a lot. I only started scratching the surface. Like, I'm not even kidding. I think that armor stacking might be overpowered this patch, especially on Titan, and there is a slim chance that they're going to nerf it in the future. And I mean not this patch, in 0.4, right? In the future, it might get toned down a little bit, but maybe not. Maybe not. We'll see. I think it's just because it feels so strong on Titan, because Titan has so many ways. Some people remember my very old video when I was talking about defenses. Get tanky, bruh. The video where I was talking about the defense in this game. And I said that on Titan, like, armor is like 5 out of 10, and on everyone else is like 1 out of 10. So right now it's probably something like on Titan it's 10 out of 10, and on everyone else is 5 out of 10, or like 6 out of 10. So basically for everyone it increased by 5 points. Okay, I'm not gonna say 10 out of 10 because armor still has its small weaknesses. For example, like not being good against damage over time, but it's good, guys. It's good. I'm ridiculously tanky. It's like it's good. Trust me, it's good. So thank you very much for watching. For any questions, feel free to let me know in the comments. And of course, the Mobalytics is going to be updated with this current version of this build. This character right now is going to be in Mobalytics, and also I'm going to be streaming after uploading this video. So feel free to check out the stream as well. If you're going to have any questions, I will be able to answer live. So it's going to be, I guess, more convenient. So that's going to be it, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.